Welcome to truthmafia.com. This is Tommy Truthful. Today we're going to be talking about the reptilians, these interdimensional fallen angelic entities that are enslaving humanity. A lot of people think they're coming from faraway star systems, but through my research, they are interdimensional and subterranean. They come from another dimension, ripping a hole in the space time continuum, traveling through these wormholes or these stargates, like what they're doing with CERN right now. And these stargates were on certain ley lines or chakra points known as dragon lines around the earth. We have monoliths on them, obelisks now. Some of them are in locations of major volcanoes on the Ring of Fire where these entities show up in these crafts and then they're gone instantaneously, especially the ancient megastructures where people would go to worship, like Stonehenge. Now, before we get into this is called fair use and allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 USC 107. So, what are these entities? Are they using technology to enslave humanity? I believe so. The reptilian agenda subjugate the human species for life force extraction, which is our loosh, our loosh energy. This is our emotional energy. Interbreed and establish hybrid bloodlines to infiltrate human culture while ensuring genetic survival. Implement mind control programs to limit the human's awakening to their true nature. That's the black goo, TV, social media. I think it's all controlled by these entities, the same as the Watchers, the fallen angels. They're all the same type of entity. And give humans opportunities to exercise false choices which give them the illusion of freedom, encourage division in religious, political, and social institutions to minimize human interconnectedness. Now, I watched this video on Gaia, and the guy said some very interesting things. Here's a clip from it right here, guys.
These things are not human. They pretend to be. Hidden behind their eyes is pure evil. They wear flesh, but beneath the skin are scales. What do they want? Why are they here? How long have they been watching us?
Physically, the reptilian humanoid is described as a bipedal creature with a humanoid shape, but adorned with reptilian features. The reptilian's anatomy is said to include a long, powerful tail, which aids in balance and agility. One of the most intriguing aspects of the reptilian humanoid is its alleged ability to shapeshift, assuming a human guise at will. This transformative power is said to facilitate infiltration into human society, allowing the reptilian to covertly influence politics, economics, and global affairs. The motives behind such influence vary, ranging from a desire for world domination to more cryptic goals. Origins of the reptilian humanoid vary within different mythologies and conspiracy theories. Some claim these beings hail from a distant planet, suggesting an extraterrestrial origin, while others propose subterranean civilizations hidden beneath the Earth's surface.
So my day starts whenever I'm out in the woods and I'm hunting. My day starts probably about 3 o'clock in the morning. Usually hunting season's cold anyway. I'm not going to give my location. That being said, whenever I go hunting, I get up about 3. I try to get out here to the woods about 3:30, 4 o'clock. Set up. I got my stands, everything ready. I have my cameras, obviously my guns, my ammo, and that's how it usually starts, and it lasts till pretty much the game's over that day. And I'm taking home a prize. Everything felt normal for the first few hours, and just when I say time froze, it froze. I know, like I said, I know these woods very well. I know everything around me. I know my surroundings, let's say like that. It was quiet. And all of a sudden, in my scopes, I see this bug run past me. And this thing was hauling butt, should I say. Next thing you know, I'm thinking in my head, is this a bear? What's going on? I'm looking everywhere, and it's right in front of me. I see this humongous 7-foot creature that looks like a lizard man. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Thank God I was not in my hunting stand. I was boots on the ground in a bush, because I got up and I ran. I darted as fast as I could to get to this, to see what the hell this is. Because like I said, I know these woods and I've never seen this in my entire life. I catch up to this. I'm looking everywhere. And the only thing I see in front of me is your average human. I mean, it was so awkward. It felt like this thing got away from me. Like, did this guy not see it as well? Like, there's no way. They only have one direction to go. You can't go uphill after that. That's the only option you have, is to go uphill, when you couldn't have made it that far. The only thing beside me is a casual human being. I know for a fact I was the only person out there that entire day by myself. Like I said, who's going to wake up 3:30 and get out here in the woods 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, right? There's no way this guy was in here. There's no way. And the only thing that I could think of to myself was, did this thing get away? Where did this guy come from? There's no way he could have came down there without me hearing him come down a hill full of leaves, by the way. It's just me and this guy, and I've never seen this guy in my life. It just doesn't add up. So that's when I had to get home and do a little research, because I know these woods inside and out. I know what I've seen. I know I'm not crazy. I'm Googling everything I can, and I'm coming up with solutions now. Now I'm seeing about these lizard people that work they're over the government. So this has always been around. They are shape-shifting lizard people. And I can't believe my eyes. I cannot believe what I'm reading. And it doesn't make sense, but I know this happened. I know for a fact this happened to me. Because that entire time when I read this, it blows my mind to think that guy I had a conversation with that didn't go anywhere, and we went separate ways. He's exactly what I just seen. That's why I'm talking to you guys right now. I'm not afraid of walking up, seeing a snake, seeing a bear, being technically stuck in a corner. I'm more afraid now of the unseen and the unknown. I'm terrified of that. And that's what's scaring me, to the point that I don't want to go out here. I feel less of a man and less of a provider now, because if I try to explain this to anyone, they're going to think I'm a liar and I'm crazy.
So what did this guy see? The lizard ran past him, and then it shapeshifts into a human. That's pretty much what he's saying, right? Now, I know that sounds crazy for the average person listening to this. You're like, man, that is far out there. But check this out. Like I said, through my research, it shows that now they're subterranean. And this is actually in the LA Times, guys. You can type in your Google search, Lizard People's Catacombs found under Los Angeles, 1934, LA Times. It'll pop right up on the LA Times, their actual website. You'll read the article, and it was lizard catacombs with gold found under it. And the Native Americans talked about these entities that showed up after a great cataclysm. And there's many different stories about them. The Hopi said they came from another dimension, another realm. And that's what I believe. I believe they're interdimensional, these entities, and they have created some hybrid race, this blue bloods, these global elites that are running the world. There's some type of hybrid that was created by them. And the reptilians are the same entities that are considered the watchers or the fallen angels of the Bible. Now, here's another clip where they were talking about the blue bloods. Check this out, guys. Very fascinating.
Reporter Linda Howe has an interesting theory on the origins of the term blue blood.
One friend and colleague of mine was Lawrence Gardner. He was tracking the whole significance of certain bloodlines going back into Mesopotamia. I was encountering exactly the same information coming in to my investigations of an alien presence on this planet and throughout the solar system. We found that we met at sort of a same point, and that was that in Mesopotamia, that all of the Anunnaki were supposed to be reptilian. And that the reptilian biology had blood that was dominated by copper. And that they literally had blue colored blood. We have red because we have an iron dominant blood. So our discussion from his history and my trying to get into it through aliens that have been dominating the earth was that the blue blood reptilians of Mesopotamia led to a group called the Merovingians. And the Merovingians tied later in the timeline directly to France, Germany, and that area of Europe, because for some reason, that bloodline, the blue bloods, went to Europe. Lawrence Gardner and other people's work coming through royalty, blue blood, tie this connection between the reptilians, Merovingians in Mesopotamia, and they were literally a reptilian blue blood line.
If this is more evidence of a manipulation, how does our DNA and an oath hold weight in our current reality? Anton Parks explains how his studies of several ancient texts reveal similar stories about humankind surrendering their will to Sumerian gods, but that in the end, we choose to kneel.
Donc, moi, je pense qu'on est toujours sous l'influence de ce serment que l'humanité.
I think that we are still under the influence of the oath sworn by humanity in front of the gods and their chariot. At this particular point, humanity forbade itself from ever knowing freedom and from thinking freely. They more or less enslaved themselves. We can see that in general, human beings are quite submissive. When certain laws pass, nowadays, instead of saying that we don't agree, we first say yes. And if we find a couple of brave men who are ready to protest, in that case, things can get moving. But it can take decades or hundreds of years before anything happens. Slavery is a good example. Therefore, I think we are still under the oath that the human race swore to the Sumerian gods in front of their spaceship. I think that there are several ways of breaking this type of oath. First of all, by acknowledging it, by allowing oneself, and by saying it out loud. I'm not anymore under the oath that was sworn to the Anunnaki. And this works for any oath.
Reporter
Yeah, they're here. They're among us, guys. This goes back to the Anunnaki, the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Egyptians. They were all worshiping these serpent entities and sacrificing people to them. This draconian law that has been set up to enslave humanity. Now, me, I always look at numerology, right? And in Sumerian gematria, shapeshift is 666, which matches with dark matter, which what are they harvesting with CERN? This dark matter, this antimatter. And they can create weapons out of it. They can create bombs that are 1,000 times stronger than any nuclear bomb, just specks of it. I mean, this stuff is so unstable. They need these huge facilities to house little quantities of it. But that's what they're harvesting with CERN from these other realities. Computer 666 too, guys, matching shapeshift. This is the number of the archons, fleur de lis. The fleur de lis is the symbol of that Merovingian bloodline they're talking about right there, the blue bloods. And the first computer to ever be sold, the Apple computer, was $666.66, which that taking the bite from the apple. This goes back to the Garden of Eden and Eve and this forbidden knowledge that humanity was not supposed to have. Now, this gets into black goo, them using this black goo as a form of mind control, this programmable matter, like I mentioned earlier, that was in Prometheus. That was the biological weapon. It was a bio weapon in Prometheus. And did you guys see the new video with Megan Fox? Check this out.
Why are all these celebrities using this black goo? So Megan Fox just dropped this picture, and we'll talk about the other celebrities in a second, but check this out. She made an announcement with this picture, and it was for her pregnancy. And this sent social media into a frenzy, because wouldn't you want the imagery to resemble the exact opposite? Now this got me thinking. I've seen this a lot recently. So on Lady Gaga's last music video, we see this black goo with a dark version of herself, throws it up onto her, and she indulges in it. Many think that this was her symbolizing that she is embracing her inner demons. Then on Justin Timberlake's last music video, he had something very similar. A literal demon is throwing up the same black goo onto him, symbolizing some type of dark possession, while it's all over his face, and demons in the music video continue to surround him. And someone who uses this often is Billie Eilish. One song, she drinks it and it oozes out of her eyes. On another song, I think she is representing Lucifer, and she is covered in it while she spreads her dark wings. So we can see clearly that this imagery represents some type of inner struggle, some type of possession, or any type of darkness. But why would Megan Fox use this in her pregnancy announcement? Why are all these celebrities?
Probably because it's some type of hybrid. And you see how Billie Eilish, her eyes was crying the black liquid. This is the nanoworm, like the Adobe ad that shows the reptilian brain worm going in through the eyeball. So they'll take this nanoworm, which is a storehouse for this demonic consciousness, for this archon consciousness, these reptilians. And you can put the nanoworm in the eye, it wraps around the optic nerve, killing off the host and transferring the consciousness of these reptilians into the host. So many of the famous people, they openly talk about this. I'll show you a clip in a second. But you see this 19 or 1892 cartoon up here with the serpent chasing the woman and her child, and that was for the anti-jab. So they knew even back then. Down here you have Sir Nunos, the one with the antlers, and he has the serpent wrapping around him. It goes all the way back to the Orphic Mysteries and the Orphic Egg. And then you have Anton LaVey, who is the head of the Church of Satan. He's always seen with these serpents. And he said this famous quote, which I mentioned in one of my other videos. The TV set or the satanic family altar has grown more elaborate since the early 50s, from the tiny fuzzy screen to huge entertainment centers covering entire walls with several TV monitors. What started as innocent escape from everyday life has become in itself a replacement for real life for millions, a major religion of the masses. That's what he says about TV, which is used, it's as some type of fallen angelic tech that is being used to enslave humanity. Just like the Black Mirror, the phone in front of you, you're on social media, it's releasing dopamines and serotonin when you get likes. It's been proven. This is scientifically proven. It's more addicting than heroin. Can you believe that? So they've enslaved us. It's all these archons. It's technology that's tethered to them, and it allows them to harvest our emotional energy, known as loosh. This is why they keep us in states of fear, terror, and the black goo, the programmable matter. I think it was in the jabbers, you know what, and some people are infected by this. Now it goes all the way back to Egypt. Even in the coffins, guys, they found this black goo. Well, what was the whole Egyptian culture all about? They wanted to reanimate themselves after death. So I think they've been doing this for a long time now. And I found some pretty crazy theories online about the black goo. Here's one. Black goo is described as a abiotic mineral oil found in the Earth's upper crust, containing significant amounts of atomic gold and iridium. When I seen that, I was thinking, man, was that what the Anunnaki was really coming here to get? Not gold, but this black goo, this with the levels of metonic gold, they would ingest that, and this is how they were living for thousands of years, or so the theories go. And they said known deposits are located in Thule Island near Falkland Island under the Gulf of Mexico. Additionally, there is oil shale containing black goo that was released during tectonic events in the Lassus Epsom area. I probably butchered that. It is believed that cracks in the Earth's crust allowed this oil to escape. And the Falkland War Connection, a film by Miles Johnston, suggests that the real cause of the Falkland War, April of 1982 to June, revolved around black goo. According to Argentinian accounts, they had contact in 1982 with gray aliens with bluish skin who traded this abiotic non fossil oil. The reservoirs of this oil were allegedly located on the uninhabited Thule Island part of the South Sandwich Islands under British jurisdiction. The theory claims that the British government sought samples of the oil from Argentina and decided to use it for their own research, sparking the conflict. Both Argentina and the British forces reportedly sent troops to Thule Island, which features the volcanic terrain with deep magma chambers. And that's a major ley line, I might add. It's speculated that the aliens built facilities within these chambers. And remember, I said they always show up around these type of locations, right? Especially around that Ring of Fire area. And they were trading this black goo. After winning the war, the British allegedly transported the black goo to Maracona Electric System Laboratories. Again, I probably butchered that one, for studies. And the goal was to use the substance in military research, including the development of quantum computers and intelligent nanobots. This was all the way back in 82. This is one of the theories out here, right? On this stuff. I found so many different ones. Scientists were astonished to discover that black goo not only carried consciousness, but seemed to retain it. The substance displayed unusual behaviors such as shape-shifting, telepathic communications, and expressing a desire to not be exploited for military purposes. Between 1983 and 1988, that was when I was born, guys, 1983, 22 scientists involved in this reportedly committed suicide. So they say. While Harold Coots Vela claims 43 total staff members were affected. Only some experienced severe physical and psychological distress, while others describe being connected to source and gaining telepathic links with plants, animals, and people. Unable to work under such conditions, the laboratories were closed down and the black goo allegedly destroyed. Now, we know that's probably not true because they don't ever destroy nothing like this. Another incident involving this abiotic oil that allegedly was the Deepwater Horizon disaster in the Gulf of Mexico. Black goo is alleged to have caused technical failures and psychological issues among the workers, leading to that catastrophe. Large quantities of the chemicals were reportedly released into the sea to destroy the substance. So they're saying it wasn't really an oil spill. That was all tied to this black goo stuff. And then there's a major Morgellons connection. So people are getting Morgellons from the chemtrails. And these are these fibers that come out of people's skin because they're having some allergic reaction to it. But Coots Villa encountered another variant of the black goo, and it was linked to the Nazis' biological weapon researches. Unlike the organic black goo, which supports all seven human chakras, This archaic variant, pretty much a GMO variant, simplifies the chakra system to three: blue, yellow, and red, representing intellect, life energy, and sexuality. While it enhances intelligence, it disconnects individuals from the collective consciousness, creating a cold and heartless demeanor. Kunzfeld refers to this as the reptilian consciousness, which played a role in black magic rituals throughout history. Excuse me, guys, I got a cold. My apologies. But yeah, I found some crazy theories on it. Black goo, or whatever you want to call it, this oil, abiotic oil, have reportedly been central to many major religious cults. Fragments were allegedly part of ancient sacred sites, such as the Oracle of Delphi, the Egyptian occult centers, and Bethel. In Indian culture, it is associated with Shiva. Some theorize that the black monolith beneath St. Peter's Basilica and the black stone of the Kaaba in Mecca could also be related to black goo, acting as conduits to the collective consciousness. And I pretty much share that opinion. I think that probably is the case. It probably is tied to these structures around the world. Now, again, when we look at the numerology, guys, so these reptilians, they're the same entities as the vampires. It's the same entities, or if it's not the reptilian itself, the fallen angelic entity, it's a hybrid that it's created, because the numerology matches perfectly, especially in Chaldean, which is based on 1 through 8, and it goes all the way back to the Akkadians. They didn't use the number 9 because it was considered divine, so they didn't use that number, and it's probably one of the best numbers for decoding. Gematria comes from Jewish Kabbalah mysticism. So the elites have everything encoded with this. And we live in some type of supercomputer, guys. We really do. Some type of simulation, because it's even encoded with our first and last names. And I'll get into that a little later. But if you watch the cult classic called They Live, where they put the sunglasses on Rodney Piper, and then he could see the entities running the world, they were really these reptilian, in everywhere the signs said obey, consume, obey. So it was a amazing movie. But They Live is 30, matching reptilians and vampires, all in that 30 cipher, matching alien hybrid boosters, how they're controlling people and getting the you know what inside of them. Algorithm is also in that 30. Again, they're using technology to enslave humanity. You see Joe Biden and Kamala D. Harris are in that cipher, and that's the number of the Black Death, which wiped out like a third of the populace. Carbon tax, guys, and the carbon tax is their whole beast system. That's how they're going to roll out the digital currency, all of it based on climate change, another reptilian deception, right? They're the ones doing it. And Demiurge. Demiurge is 30. Well, the Demiurge is Yald the Baoth. He's the head archon. He's the one with the body of the serpent, the head of the lion. His name was Yaldabaoth. That's the one that Jesus Christ came back to expose him as a false god and free humanity from him. And then Jesus was killed for this, for showing humanity that they have the power within them to heal people. Back in the day, we could speak telepathically. I mean, we were so much uh, more powerful than we've been led to believe we are, because they're dumbing us down, they're enslaving us. And also, alter egos in that 30. Well, back to the whole droning, going in through the eye, all these famous people talk about they have these alter egos, and the alter ego comes out on stage and takes over. You guys remember when Beyonce said this? She said, the first time an entity came into me, she openly said that, because they're pulling these entities out of some people believe out of the ether, the lower astral plane, And the black goo, the programmable matter, the nanoworm, is a storehouse for that demonic consciousness. So again, the alter ego being tied to reptilians, it makes sense, because listen to what she says here, guys. They're being possessed by these entities, and it's killing off the host and taking over the consciousness of the host.
Sasha was in full effect. Sasha is my alter ego. And when people see me, sometimes I think that when they meet me and they speak with me, they're expecting Sasha. And I'm really kind of shy, and not really shy, but more reserved, and nothing like Sasha. But I guess I wouldn't be very entertaining on the stage, so Sasha comes out and she's fearless. You know, she can do things that I cannot do when I'm in rehearsal. I mean, I can try, but then it just doesn't happen. I can sing notes and sing strong and do all these things that when I'm just by myself, I can't do. And I remember right before I performed, I raised my hands up, and it was kind of the first time I felt something else come into me. And I knew that was gonna be my coming out night for the BET Awards.
Yeah. What went into her was one of these demons, one of these archons. That's why we see the one eye bleeding symbolism all throughout Hollywood in all their movies. You'll see the one eye bleeding or the black goo coming down the eyes, right? Sometimes it'll be the one eye covered, or maybe a teardrop. You know, teardrops have many different meanings. You know, I got one, and not to my knowledge, anyways, I haven't been cloned or droned yet. Not to my knowledge, but who knows, right? So this symbolism, it goes back to this soul scraping ritual where that's what the whole selling their soul is tied to, taking that Faustian bargain where they make this pact with Lucifer, with these entities. And my boy True Scrambler, shout out to Gabe from truescrambler.com. He really turned me on to this back in the day. And his YouTube links right there, guys, and his website, truescrambler.com. But me and him had a conversation on the phone when we first started talking. And we were both at that time, we both knew about Donald Marshall, right? And Donald Marshall was talking about these cloning centers, and he said that it was a lizard's proboscis that would come off the real lizard. And he said they were killing each other at these cloning centers, and these lizards were running at these reptilians. And it sounded so crazy at first, but he said the proboscis would go in the eye, wrap around the optic nerve, and take over the consciousness of the host. Well, you see here, that's the eye of providence, the all-seeing eye, and you see the leakage going out of it. It has that same symbolism. Well, me and Gabe was talking about, what if it's not a lizard's proboscis? Because I find out Donald Marshall has all these intelligent connections to intelligence agencies and Masonic places, secret societies. So what if he was in there to inject that to make it look laughable and stupid, when really it's technology? It's black goo, programmable matter. It's a nanoworm that's going in through the eye, taking over the consciousness of the host. And that's what all the numerology shows. So it lines up with that. And one thing I say all the time, people lie, numbers don't. That's why I love mathematics. It's so pure. It is what it is. But this symbolism, before Donald Marshall came in, people just thought it represented the left-handed path, the eye of providence, the eye of Horus, many different things. And then we start learning about this droning, this soul scraping, and there's definitely something to it. I mean, these celebrities, they speak through symbolism. Look up what Confucius once stated: symbols run the world, not the laws of man. And if you just learn how to speak through symbolism and read their symbolism, just like the hieroglyphs back in ancient Egypt, how they communicated, right, through pictures, they're still doing it today. and it's probably more powerful than anything they could say. This is a vril right here. So what? There's different vril type ones, vril type two, and it's a little thing that gets in the eye and grows. Now, see, I think that was all to make it look laughable. I think the reptilian thing is 100% real. I think they're demons or fallen angels. They want us to believe they're aliens. That's part of the deception. When really they're just changing the name, changing the word around. Alien. Look at the word, dissect it. Lie. You see, and then there's the needle with the serpent wrapping up it. That's what they go in through the eye, and that serpent wrapping around that optic nerve. That's our medical symbol. So they've showed us the symbolism over and over. And again, the whole alien narrative is to throw us off. So what they do is they'll mix some truth with the lies to make us look over here and not over here. Watch the left hand while the right hand's robbing you to death. It's the oldest trick in the book. But here's the nanobots going in through the eye. It's definitely nanotechnology, and it's a storehouse of this demonic consciousness that is being injected into these people and taking over their consciousness. That's why they have the black eyes. It's all from these soul scraping rituals. So that person's dead. Now the lizard, the reptilian, the fallen angel, the alien is taking over that host. And I know that sounds crazy, but the biblical scripture backs it up, guys. That's what these things are. They're fallen angels, and they're trying to deceive us by giving them a new name, by calling them aliens or extraterrestrials. And even in the alien narrative, they say um, the reptilians are the ones that made a pact with humans. It was the reptilians that made the pact with humans, right? Well, with our government, anyways. And, I think with all my heart that these are the fallen angels that Aleister Crowley made contact with them. Then he trained his protege, Jack Parsons, who did the Babylon workings and opened up that interdimensional gateway in 1946 doing that Babylon working ritual where he invited them in. And then our government started getting technology from them, anti-gravity technology, life extension technology, all this advanced technology they're getting from these entities, and they made a pact with them. So you'll notice the one thing they never talk about is the reptilians. Even these alien people, they'll talk about the Zetas, the Greys, all these different ones, Palladians, but you'll never hear them talk about the reptilians. It's the one thing I get censored over the most because the alleged rumor is that they made a pact with them extraterrestrials. But again, I don't think there's nothing extraterrestrial about them. Which extraterrestrial, that means extra terrain, anyways. There's land that they don't tell us about. Everything's been a lie and hid to us from the beginning. We're in some enclosed system that has a firmament over it. It's some organic simulation that we're in, and it has an underworld, an inner earth, and we've never left this dome. That's my opinion on it. Um, and we can travel interdimensionally because everything in this reality is coded to the speed of light. So you have to break the speed of light to go beyond this reality and travel interdimensionally. That's how they're doing. That's my theory, anyways. And that's how they travel through this multiverse. And they've set up this power structure with the different secret societies. You got the Jesuits, Satan, Lucifer, Yaldabaoth, Yaldabaoth at the top, his Jesuit popes, the black pope, the white pope, the gray pope. There's many different hierarchies. You have the Order of the Golden Fleece. You have the Freemasons. They're way at the bottom, though. People think they're all the way at the top. They're really not, man. They're so far down at the bottom. Most of them probably don't even know what's really going on. You can't even become a 33rd degree unless you're invited in. So that's how they keep the normal people out of it. They gotta see if you're down with the rituals. It gets darker and darker each time. They might have you sacrifice a kid, then they turn you on to some stuff that involves pedo, hurting a child. And the more you'll do, the higher up you rise. That's also they can have blackmail on you too, but they want to see how dark you'll go. That's taking that left-handed path. You know what I mean? And it's all about harvesting the energy. Why the person is sacrificing the child, which they were doing back in ancient times to Baal and Moloch, right? As they're sacrificing the child in these occult rituals, these entities known as the archons, the reptilians, they feed on the loosh, the emotional terror and torture coming off of that child. In Doctor Sleep, it was called steam. Remember, the vampiric nomadic entities were feeding off of the children's fear and terror. It was called the steam that their body would release as they were killing them. And that's how they lived forever, thousands of years. That's that whole vampire narrative. They've been doing this. Guys, these people are out of their mind, the ones running the world. And that's why we have to spread this truth and expose there is something going on here, whether it's demons, aliens. We need to at least have the conversation and not be scared to have that conversation and share this content. So, I really appreciate I would love to hear your guys' opinions down in the comments. Let me know what you think. What do you think these entities are? What are your opinions? If you don't believe in them, that's cool. You're allowed to disagree over here. My job is to provoke thought. As long as I got you thinking outside the box, I did my job. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people just want to be stuck in an echo chamber and hear the same thing over and over. Now, as we come to the end of this video, guys, we're 100% viewer funded. We don't have millions of dollars funding us like the mainstream media. So we do decodes, like we break down your gematria, just like I broke down the gematria on reptilians and these entities right here. You have a code attached to your first and last name. So attached to your first and last name, you have what's called a source code. We all do. And it'll tell you whether you're a non-player character, NPC, first player character. You might be a very rare first player character and a carrier of what's called the Neo code, where you have certain abilities to bend and manipulate reality to your will. So you can book that. It's only $26. We do it all via email, and you book it on my website, truthfultv.com. If you're booking a decode, use the promo code decode the matrix, all capital letters. You'll get an extra 11% off. And then on our shop, we have a Black Friday sale going on. You want to use promo code sale17 and you get an extra 17% off with free shipping. And everything I have over here, guys, is organic, holistic. We got energy wellness technology. Again, this is truthfultv.com. If you're on Instagram, the link's in the bio. If you're on any other platform, it'll be in the description. We got these 7.83 hertz frequency pulse waves, which you can put by your computer, by your bed, and it releases that Schumann resonance frequency that helps for overall wellness. It relieves anxiety, stress, helps you sleep. We have different levels too. We have one as cheap as $26. We got some that are 60. It just depends on what quality you want. We got some of Tesla's technology, these energy discs that pull energy out of the ether and the air and attach it to you in your biofield. We got the MWOF discs. They're really amazing. We got certain whistles. They're not really whistles though, guys. They're breathing tools to teach you how to breathe. But you just got to go check it out. We got so many different holistical products over there. Bracelets, necklaces. We got certain ones that block obsidian. It blocks demonic and spiritual attacks. So obsidian's real powerful. The ancients used to wear it. We have necklaces, we have bracelets, like the Aztecs, the Mayans. There's a reason they used obsidian so much. It's the spiritual and protection power it has on it. And one thing I noticed with a lot of these elements, all the ones that block 5G also block demonic energy. Ain't that interesting? So the 5G, I believe, is some type of fallen angelic technology. And we also have these energy wellness bands. They're a sponsor of our podcast. You can't get that on truthfultv.com. That link is in the bio. And if you're on Instagram, it's up in my highlights. Just look in the highlights and look in the story, and you'll see the energy wellness band. It's also in the links on my page, and then it will be in the description on all other platforms. Use promo code Truth Mafia, capital T, capital M, Truth Mafia. And this band is amazing. It has the Suge Knight, the Torlamine grounded up in the band, and then certain frequencies binded to the hologram, which protects you. So I just appreciate you guys rocking out with us today. Thank you for all your love and support. We couldn't do this without you. Hit that like button, share this video, and please, please leave your comments. Sorry I've been gone, guys. I've been in Facebook jail and YouTube jail. I'm out tomorrow on the 20th. Truthful, out.